The universe you think you see is a lie. Not because your eyes deceive you, but because the cosmos is more cunning than you could ever imagine. You open your eyes and see the stars, cold pinpricks of light, some flickering, some steady, all suspended in the ink-black vastness above. It feels infinite. You assume it's all there, all laid bare before you. But what if I told you that most of what exists you'll never see? Not because it's hidden behind a veil, but because it never had the chance to reach you. The light from distant galaxies is like a whisper in a storm, fragile, ancient, and slow. It travels through a universe that's stretching, ballooning outward like a breath that never ends. That stretch, that expansion, pulls light away from us. It reddens it, dilutes it, erases it. Now, ask yourself, how far can a whisper travel before it's lost forever? Imagine standing in a dark field, watching fireworks on the horizon. You see the glow, but not the source. You hear the echo, but not the bang. The deeper into space you look, the further back in time you're peering. But time and space are not separate things out there. They twist together like smoke. The more you try to see, the more the universe turns its back to you. It recedes, not just in distance, but in possibility. And here's the terrifying truth. There are galaxies speeding away from us faster than light itself. You'll never see them. No one will. Not even our most powerful telescopes. They've already crossed a threshold, a cosmic event horizon. Their light will never reach us, not even after trillions of years. They're ghosts, already gone, though they still burn. You've been told the universe is about 13.8 billion years old. So, naturally, you might think that the farthest we can see is 13.8 billion light-years. Logical, right? But that assumption is wrong, because while light has been traveling toward us for 13.8 billion years, the universe itself has been moving. Space has been expanding, growing between us and the light trying to reach us. So that light we're just now seeing, it was emitted when its source was maybe 30 million light-years away. But now, it's over 46 billion light-years away. That means the visible universe, the one you think you're seeing, is over 93 billion light-years wide. Let that sit for a moment. What you're seeing is not what is, it's what was, stretched across time like a memory that refuses to fade. You're not looking through space. You're looking through history, a frozen slideshow of dying signals, each one dimmer than the last. And here's the kicker. The universe is expanding faster than light, but not in a way that violates physics. It's not the galaxies themselves moving faster than light. It's the space between them stretching like an inflating balloon. And because of that, we are surrounded by objects we'll never touch, never know, never even see. They've been pulled beyond the cosmic curtain. You are trapped in a bubble of light, a prison of photons, a cell built not of walls, but of time and speed and distance. So, ask yourself, how much of the universe have we lost before ever seeing it? How many civilizations, how many wonders, how many colors and shapes and truths drift forever out of reach? And now, take that even further. If we're losing galaxies to the dark every second, falling behind the expansion like swimmers in a cosmic riptide, then one day, everything will vanish. Even the galaxies we see now, even our closest neighbors. One day, the night sky will go black, one star at a time. The universe won't explode into silence. It will fade into it. You may think you live in a universe of stars, But in truth, you live inside a vanishing dream, and that's only the beginning. The universe begins, not with a location, but with a moment. And that moment wasn't a bang. It was silence. The kind of silence that's not the absence of sound, but the absence of being. No galaxies, no stars, no atoms, no time. Only a singularity, a word that's less of an explanation and more of a placeholder for we have no idea. An infinitely dense point where the laws of physics, as we know them, break like brittle glass. And yet, from that nothingness, everything began. You've heard it before, the Big Bang, a phrase that suggests violence, an explosion. But that's not quite right. The Big Bang wasn't an explosion in space, it was an expansion of space. Space itself grew, stretched, blossomed. Not outward from a center, but everywhere, all at once. Every point in the universe was the center, including the point beneath your feet. Now imagine the early universe not as a place, but as a state of being, a cosmic soup, thick with energy, hotter than the core of 1,000 stars. It wasn't just hot, it was primordial fire, a furnace where particles slammed into each other, annihilated, and birthed new ones in a frenetic cosmic dance. Time hadn't settled into rhythm yet. Space had no form, no structure, just raw potential, boiling with possibility. It took nearly 380,000 years for things to calm down enough for light to travel freely. Before that, darkness. Not because light didn't exist, but because it was trapped, bouncing off particles like a scream in a padded room. And then, clarity. A moment called recombination. Atoms formed. Photons escaped. And the universe, for the first time, became visible. That ancient light? It's still around, still whispering. We call it the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of creation, stretched thin by time, cooled to just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. It's everywhere, in your bedroom, between galaxies, in the silence between heartbeats. It is the oldest light we can see, and yet it's not the beginning. You see, what we can observe, our visible universe, is just a sphere of light centered around Earth. But that sphere is not the whole universe. It's just the part that's had enough time to say, hello, let's pause there. Because here comes the contradiction. If the universe has no edge, where does it begin? If it's expanding, what's it expanding into? If space can stretch, does that mean it can tear? These aren't just puzzles for physicists. They're cracks in the mirror of reality. Because as we look deeper into the cosmos, the reflection looking back grows stranger. Galaxies arranged in threads and walls, cosmic filaments stretching hundreds of millions of light-years. It's not random, it's structured. But how does order emerge from a universe born in chaos? To understand that, we must visit inflation. Not the economic kind, the cosmic kind. In the tiniest fraction of a second after the Big Bang, far less than a blink, less than a breath, something extraordinary happened. The universe didn't just grow, it exploded in size exponentially. Picture a grain of sand swelling to the size of a galaxy in less time than it takes for light to cross the width of an atom. Why? We don't know. We only see its fingerprints. An eerily uniform universe with tiny imperfections that seeded the stars. A balance so delicate, it's as if the entire cosmos was tuned, fine-tuned, to allow for structure, matter, life. But here's the twist. Inflation didn't just stop. Some theories suggest it's still happening, just not here. That beyond our cosmic horizon, in realms we can never see, new universes are still budding off like cosmic bubbles. That's right. What you think of as the universe may be just one universe among an uncountable many. The multiverse. A concept so staggering it bends the word reality into something unrecognizable. And still, we're only talking about the visible sliver. Because as space expands, light from more distant regions stretches too. Eventually it stretches so far, it becomes undetectable, invisible, lost. Not because it no longer exists, but because our instruments, our eyes, our physics can no longer reach it. Think about this. Light from the Andromeda galaxy takes 2.5 million years to reach us. You're seeing it as it was when humans hadn't even stood upright. But beyond a certain distance, about 46 billion light-years away, even if light started racing toward us now, it would never arrive. The space between is growing too fast. The cosmic speed limit, light, is no match for the universe's ambition. So, now we must ask, what does it mean to see? If we're staring at photons that began their journey billions of years ago, then what we're seeing isn't the universe as it is, but as it was. A living museum of dying stars and collapsing dreams. The universe has moved on, but we're still catching up. You might wonder, if light is the key to seeing, what else are we missing? The answer is most things. Because the cosmos isn't made of just stars and galaxies. In fact, all the atoms, all the matter you can touch and see, make up less than 5% of the universe. The rest? It's invisible, unseen, unknown. Dark matter, dark energy. Words we give to things we don't understand. Shadows that shape the universe's fate. Dark matter holds galaxies together with a gravitational grip we can't explain. It's the scaffolding of the cosmos, seen only through its influence. And dark energy? It's even stranger. It's the force accelerating the universe's expansion, not slowing it down like gravity should, but speeding it up. Why? We don't know. It's as if the universe has an engine we've never seen, and it's flooring the gas pedal. So we're back to the core question. How much of the universe can we see? The unsettling answer? Not much. And what we do see is filtered through time, space, and illusion. A flickering candle in a hall of mirrors. But that doesn't mean we stop looking, because in every photon that reaches us, every ancient spark of light, we find a story, a clue, a thread in the grand tapestry, and perhaps, just perhaps, when we stitch those threads together, we'll catch a glimpse of something larger, something beyond, something waiting in the dark. Imagine reality as a film reel, not a flowing movie, but a reel already shot, already complete. Every frame, every moment locked into place. The past, the present, the future. All there, existing, immutable. What if time doesn't move forward, but we do, like a needle playing a vinyl record, reading one groove at a time? Now, zoom out, you see the reel itself. Not just the scene, but the structure. And from this vantage, you ask a haunting question. What happens at the beginning of the film? What is the first frame of everything? The scientific name for that frame is the singularity. But don't let the word fool you. A singularity isn't something, it's the absence of all somethings, a mathematical warning label, an undefined edge where equations collapse and meaning dissolves. It's where our knowledge crumbles into silence. The singularity at the heart of a black hole, and the one at the birth of the cosmos? They may be one and the same. Let's take a detour into the darkness. Black holes, nature's most cryptic. Editors. They erase information with merciless precision. Their gravity is so strong that nothing escapes, not even light. But here's where it gets strange. At the center of a black hole lies a singularity, a point of infinite density where the laws of physics don't just break, they scream. Now imagine time falling into that singularity. Imagine that instead of marching forward, time folds inward, collapsing like a crumpled page. In that crushed zone, space ceases to be. Time stops, and yet. In 1974, Stephen Hawking proposed something revolutionary. Black holes leak. They radiate. They evaporate. Through a strange quantum mechanism near the event horizon, particles can pop into existence. One escapes. One falls in. The black hole shrinks. So here comes the paradox. If black holes evaporate, where does the information go? Every law of physics insists that information can't be destroyed. But if a black hole disappears, does that mean the data it swallowed, stars, planets, entire civilizations, is lost forever? This is the black hole information paradox, one of the deepest wounds in modern physics, and now peer closer. Some physicists think black holes don't destroy information. They store it, etched on their surface like a cosmic hard drive. This led to the shocking idea that the universe itself might work this way, that everything we experience, everything we are, may be encoded on the outer boundary. This is the holographic principle. You, your memories, your heartbeat, this entire three-dimensional world may be a projection from a two-dimensional surface, like a cosmic hologram. It sounds like science fiction, but it's a legitimate theory, born from the union of quantum mechanics and gravity, string theory, and black holes. And if it's true, then the cosmos is not what it seems. It never was. We live in a reality we don't understand, a paradox we haven't solved, and yet the mysteries go even deeper. Time itself may not be real. Enter the concept of block time, the idea that all points in time, past, present, and future, exist simultaneously. In Einstein's universe, there is no now, no universal moment, just slices of space-time, existing forever. You are not moving through time. You are frozen in one frame, like a bead on a thread. The illusion of motion, that's your consciousness flipping pages. But here's where the thread frays. Some physicists believe time might be cyclical, that the universe expands, then contracts, then expands again. An eternal rebirth, a cosmic heartbeat. This is the Big Bounce, a theory that replaces the Big Bang with a rhythmic cosmos. The end becomes the beginning, over and over. Others go further, proposing closed time-like curves, paths through space-time that loop back on themselves. Time travel not just as a fantasy, but as a mathematical consequence of general relativity. Yes, time loops. Einstein's equations allow them under certain conditions. Spin a black hole fast enough, shape space-time just right, and, theoretically, you could walk into a wormhole and emerge before you entered. But can you kill your grandfather? Here lies the grandfather paradox. If you travel back and prevent your own existence, what happens? Logic collapses. Reality unravels. Some theorists resolve it with quantum mechanics. Every choice creates a new branch, a new universe. So, the moment you alter the past, you slip into a different reality. This leads us to the many worlds interpretation. What if every decision, every quantum event, every twist of fate spawns a new universe? Right now, as you listen to this, there may be another version of you who paused this video, another who never found it, another who never existed. A multiverse, not of fantasy worlds, but of quantum outcomes. An infinite tree of realities, branching forever. And in this grand garden of forking paths, who are you? What defines your universe, your now, your truth? Theories pile on. Bubble universes, baby universes, parallel brains. String theory suggests that particles are not points, but vibrating strings, and the way they vibrate determines the forces of nature. But here's the unsettling implication. For string theory to work, we need more than 3 dimensions of space, not 4, not 5, 10, or even 11. Dimensions wrapped so tightly we cannot see them, like threads woven into the fabric of reality itself. So now ask, is the universe truly all there is, or is it just our layer in a cosmic cake? One slice of a deeper, higher dimensional existence? Physicists call this the brain world, where our universe floats on a 4-dimensional sheet in a higher dimensional space. Other brains, other universes, may drift nearby, never touching, until they do. Some even suggest that our universe was born when 2 brains collided. A cosmic impact so vast it mimics a Big Bang, and in this picture, collisions are inevitable. They happen, again and again. Each collision births a new universe, a new history, a new set of laws. So what makes ours special? Why does our universe allow stars to form? Why do atoms hold together? Why can life emerge? Is it a cosmic accident, or is it design? Here, science meets philosophy. Because we don't know why the universe permits us. But we know this. If it didn't, we wouldn't be here to ask. This is the Anthropic Principle, a tautology, a riddle, a mirror, and it leaves us in a state of awe and doubt. Because for all the theories, for all the models, for all the math, we're still staring into the abyss, trying to paint its walls with our minds, and the abyss does not blink. You've just crossed the threshold, beyond the veil of science, beyond the numbers and equations and clean diagrams. Now you feel it, the chill, the vertigo of understanding too much, and yet not enough. You are a speck. No, smaller than a speck. A thought, flickering for a fraction of a second, on a pale, blue dot that orbits a dying star in a galaxy that's already halfway across a disappearing sky. And the universe doesn't know you're here, not because it's cruel, but because it's indifferent. There is no central eye watching, no voice in the dark that says your name. Only silence. A silence so deep, so absolute, it begins to feel like pressure. What are you, in the face of 2 trillion galaxies? Each galaxy, a swirling city of billions, of stars. Each star, possibly surrounded by worlds. Each world, perhaps, holding life. And here you are, trying to matter. You wake up, you eat, you love, you ache, you chase dreams, you bury your dead. And yet, none of it slows the march of time or halts the expansion of space. If everything is just atoms dancing through physics, what is the point of feeling? If time is not real, if your choices are already inked in space-time, like lines on a scroll, do you even choose? Maybe you've already lived this moment. Maybe you've lived it 1,000,000 times. Maybe you've never stopped living it. Somewhere, right now, another version of you is watching the same sky, asking the same questions. Maybe they've found peace, or maybe they're screaming into the dark. But the dark doesn't answer. And then the horror sets in. The true horror is not that the universe might end, but that it might go on without you. Imagine it. Stars continue to burn. Galaxies continue to drift. Light continues to stretch thinner and thinner. Civilizations rise and fall. And you vanish. Not just physically. Completely. No record. No echo. No imprint on space-time. As if you never existed. Because in a universe this vast, what is memory? What is legacy? What is identity? You might live 80 years, 100 if you're lucky, but the universe? It doesn't count in years. It counts in epochs, in eons, in trillions of years where even galaxies fade like dying embers. And if the stars can die, so can the meaning they once illuminated. What if everything you love is already gone in another timeline? What if every goodbye was spoken before the hello? What if there is no now? What if the universe is alive, and you are just one of its fleeting thoughts? A brief neuron firing, destined to fade, never to be repeated. And yet, somehow, you feel. You look at the stars, not with cold detachment, but with wonder, with longing, with tears in your eyes. Why? What evolutionary benefit is there in awe? Why should a lump of carbon, born from stardust, tremble at the sight of the very stars that birthed it, unless something inside you remembers? Not consciously, not biologically, but deeply, primordially, a trace of the cosmos recognizing itself. Because you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe, made of its atoms, shaped by its gravity, lit by its light. You are a ripple in the vast ocean of being, a brief, miraculous arrangement of particles that, for one impossible moment, can ask why. And isn't that sacred? Not because the universe gives you meaning, but because you give meaning to the universe. You, the watcher of stars. You, the dreamer of questions. You, the quiet voice that whispers into the dark, hoping, just hoping. It echoes back. So, what now? Do you turn away? Let the void swallow you? Or do you look deeper? Do you let the fear consume you? Or let it transform you? Because the same scale that makes you feel small is also what makes you precious. There may be trillions of stars, but there is only one you. One conscious sliver of the cosmos looking back at itself right now, in this moment, and in the face of eternity. That might be enough. And now, we arrive. Not at an answer, but at the edge. Everything you've seen, everything you've felt, the scientific truths, the paradoxes, the existential terror and wonder, all of it has led to this moment, to one final realization. We do not live in the universe. We are the universe, dreaming. You might have sensed it before, in quiet moments, in the stillness of the night, when you stare into the sky and feel something familiar staring back, not as a god, not as a deity, but as yourself. older, wider, deeper. Because consciousness may not be a product of the universe. It may be its foundation. A growing number of physicists and philosophers are asking an unthinkable question. What if the universe itself is conscious? Not conscious like a human, not conscious like a mind, but conscious like a process, like a vast neural web made of galaxies and stars and gravity. And if that's true, then you, watching this now, you are a neuron firing, a fragment of cosmic self-awareness, waking up in the dark. What if we are the universe's way of understanding itself? It's not a metaphor. It's a hypothesis. In quantum physics, observation plays a fundamental role. Nothing becomes real until it is observed, until it is measured, until it is experienced. So what happens to a universe without observers? Maybe it waits. Maybe it never was until someone opened their eyes and asked, "What is this?" But here's where everything fractures. The final twist. What if we're not seeing the universe at all, but its ghost? Some cosmologists now believe we may be living in a cosmic afterglow, not in the prime of the universe, but in its twilight. That the golden age of creation, galaxy formation, star birth, complexity, is behind us. And we are witnessing the echoes, the leftovers, the final embers of a fire that's already gone out. What if the universe is already dead, and we are just the last sparks in the dark? It sounds impossible, but consider this. The stars are fading. Galaxies are drifting apart faster than light. The universe is expanding into emptiness, into heat death. One day, no light will travel between galaxies. One day, no new stars will form. One day, everything will go dark. We're not at the beginning. We're at the end of the beginning. Or maybe the beginning of the end. And yet, you're here, watching, listening, feeling. So maybe this moment matters more than you think. Now, imagine this. The camera zooms out from Earth, faster than light, past the moon, past the sun, past the Oort cloud, out of the Milky Way, further still, past Andromeda, past clusters, past superclusters. Now the galaxies blur into threads, cosmic filaments, stretching like nerves across the black, and then further, until everything becomes a shimmer, a single radiant pulse. One breath, one beat, one thought, the universe, seen not as a place, but as an idea, a living memory playing itself over and over again, not for an audience, not for a purpose, but because it can, because existence is the only story the universe knows how to tell. So now, let the final question echo in you. If the universe is infinite, then somewhere out there, right now, another version of you is watching this very video. Maybe they are more advanced. Maybe they never evolved. Maybe they are the stars. And maybe, just maybe, they are asking the same question. How much of the universe can we see with our eyes? And the answer is still coming. In Teen, Javadi silence, in the dark, in the light that has not yet arrived. So, you made it. You followed the trail of light, through science and silence, wonder and fear, illusion and truth. You've peered across time, through the eyes of galaxies, across the edge of space itself. And yet, you're still here. Not because you found answers, but because something inside you needed to ask. We began with a question so simple it almost felt naive. how much of the universe can we see with our eyes? And we followed that question into the abyss. We discovered that we see not with our eyes, but with our minds. That light is ancient. That time is strange. That space is not a backdrop, but a living, stretching thing that defines what can be known and what must remain lost. We traveled to singularities, where time ends. We touched the edge of the multiverse, where infinity becomes fractured. We stood beneath stars already gone and asked if we, too, are echoes. We looked at black holes and wondered where memory goes. We listened to the cosmic microwave background and heard the last heartbeat of creation. We questioned time. We questioned reality. We questioned ourselves. And somewhere along the way, the question changed, because this isn't just about what we see. It's about what we are. If reality is a hologram, if time is an illusion, if every decision spawns a new world, then you, yes, you, are not a passive observer. You are part of the code. You are a node in the web. You are a mirror fragment of something older than time. So what do you do with that knowledge? What do you do with the fact that we may be living inside the memory of a dead universe? What do you do with the possibility that this very moment, right now, is the most aware the cosmos has ever been of itself? What if this is it? What if this moment of listening, of feeling, of awe, is the meaning? And yet, we're not done. Because every mystery we've uncovered is just a doorway. Every answer we've entertained is wrapped in deeper questions. And if the universe is infinite, so is its capacity to surprise us. You are not small because the universe is vast. You are vast because you can hold the universe inside you. Your mind, this fragile machine of flesh and spark, is capable of grasping galaxies. You can imagine time loops, dimensions, quantum fields, cosmic strings, the birth of stars, the death of matter, the final flicker of light in a trillion years. So don't stop now. Don't walk away from the edge. Don't turn your back on the stars. Because they're calling, not with words, but with presence, with light that has crossed billions of years just to reach your eyes. And now, the final question, the one that haunts every scientist, every philosopher, every child who has looked up at the night sky with tears in their eyes. Why is there something instead of nothing? No one knows. Maybe no one ever will. But maybe that's the point. Not to find the answer, but to keep asking, to keep wondering, to keep looking up, because the universe may have no end. But maybe neither do you.